Hello, guys. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Hope that everyone is having a wonderful day, and welcome back to another episode of No More Kids in Scientology. So, for this episode, you guys, we brought receipts. We're going to be reviewing some of the receipts that Mark Bunker has already provided to us as he's been documenting activities going on with the Clearwater Police for a very long time. So we are going to be reacting to that, and we're also going to be reacting to what was unraveled by Marty Rathbun, including how Scientology has a literal chokehold over the department, the Clearwater Police Department. So, in a brazen display of dishonesty, the ex-Clearwater police chief was caught red-handed in uniform, shamelessly denying the insidious influence of Scientology over his department. But his deceit is being called out. It's being dismantled by Marty Rathbun, of all people, you guys, a top former Scientology insider who exposed how Scientology effectively and decisively purchased the loyalty of Clearwater Police Department. We're talking admissions. We're talking video receipts. So Rathbun's damning revelation exposes a festering nest of corruption and manipulation, plunging local law enforcement into a profound crisis of integrity. Clearwater Police Chief, Clearwater Police Department, y'all's integrity is being questioned AF. In this year 2024, y'all's integrity is being questioned AF. The public's trust lies shattered, laid bare to the horrifying reality of Scientology's sinister control and utterly improper, undue influence. That's what we're calling out. There's undue influence, aka corruption. Go and work clear that word. Clearwater Police Department, all of the officers that are on the payroll, y'all that are getting paid, y'all that are subsidizing y'all's salary with money being collected from a hotel, where including but not limited to underage children are being used as conduits to obtain said money that y'all are depositing in y'all's bank accounts at Wells Fargo and everywhere else the Clearwater Police people go and bank for themselves. The Clearwater Police shamefully prioritizes protecting Scientology's interests over safeguarding defenseless minors trapped in an abusive hotel, exposed to so-called audits, which are utter torture for kids, ethics handlings, and grotesque grooming courses, none of them appropriate for any child to be exposed to. And if you, Clearwater Police Department, really wants to say, oh, whatever, go put your child. We dare you. We dare you to submit your child to an audit. We dare you to bring your child to a Scientology hotel to get ethics handled. We dare you, Clearwater Police Department parents, to put your child to be, do a course from L. Ron Hubbard on how to interrogate adults. We dare all of you, Clearwater Police Department parents, that apparently have no critical thinking skills for yourselves. Imagine that you're leaving the literal underage vulnerable minors at the mercy of their abusers to fend for themselves. It is time to demand accountability and justice for those betrayed by those sworn to uphold the law. So let's first start with this video message, official video message on the Clearwater Police Department's YouTube channel from Clearwater Police Chief Daniel Slaughter. So let's really see what you say, Chief Slaughter, and let's really compare what else is being said that contradicts what in the hell you're saying here.
Hello, I'm Clearwater Police Chief Daniel Slaughter. I began my career with the department in 1992. I've been a street
1992, you guys. So going way, way back. Imagine that he started being a police guy a year after I had already arrived in Clearwater and I was already being trafficked. So 19 years is what we have here on the record, that 1992 is when he started.
cop, a detective, and served in various leadership roles before I was promoted to police chief in 2014. As a Clearwater resident and a police chief of this city, I wanted to talk to you about a long-standing matter affecting our department and community. For years, the Clearwater Police Department has been thrust into the middle of a debate between a controversial religion and its critics, and without a voice in the matter.
You've been thrust. Clearwater Police Chief Slaughter, that you're not. But we're going to get into that later, you guys. We're going to tell you what he's now doing, because he's no longer the Clearwater Police Chief. But imagine that you portray yourself as the victim. Oh, we've been thrust into this debate, you guys. It's like a debate that they're having and we don't have a voice because we're just, the Clearwater Police Department chief wants you to think that he's the voiceless in the matter. That children stuck in unthinkable billion-year so-called contracts, which are not part of any religious activity, Chief Slaughter, double check that pitch for yourself. If you with a straight face can tell us that we were having religious experiences as we were being made to sign said contracts at 12 years old, then yeah, let's really hear that pitch from you, because you are the last to be the victims here. I'm sorry to inform you.
Scientology's hub of activity is in a portion of downtown Clearwater, occupying approximately half a square mile in our 36 square mile city. Not one of our on-duty officers is assigned to or stationed at any Scientology property. The Clearwater Police Department.
Maybe you should have people stationed. Maybe that's been the problem, you guys, right? Maybe you should have police people stationed so they can actually start looking with their eyeballs what in the hell is going on. In what world are streamers more in the know of the activities going on inside of these hotels and commercial buildings than the own police departments? Answer for yourselves that question. In what world have streamers gathered more intelligence collectively than all United States law enforcement agencies combined? Because yes, you guessed it, you guys, apparently all the law enforcement agencies are so clued out, so out of the loop. Oh, we thought there was a religion. That's what we were told by the IRS. Oh, it wasn't? Oh, underage children were exposed? Oh, you're saying, oh, what? This is what in the hell is giving. This is what in the literal hell is giving right about now.
Department received more than 78,000 calls for service in 2018, with approximately 109 originating from Scientology staff or security. This equates to approximately 0.1% of all calls for service. We are obligated to respond to all calls for service, regardless of religious affiliation of the caller, and to protect free speech for all.
Imagine we couldn't call y'all. Imagine Clearwater Police, ex-Clearwater Police Chief Slaughter. Imagine we couldn't call y'all. We were told at the hotel, if you dial 911, the call will be forwarded to security. Imagine we couldn't call y'all. So what type of real calls were you really getting? 100 calls? from Scientology. You're on the record stating you were getting 100 calls. For what? For what? Because you know what? Tracy McManus of the Tampa Bay Times has already done a very thorough request. Very, very thorough request for anything ever, anything to do with the Clearwater Police and Scientology. And guess what? Not a lot turned out. So why is the Clearwater Police Department not turning out nothing? And they've been called 100 times and there was nothing to see, no strings to pull anytime you were ever called to the fucking hotel? I mean, literally?
Citizens, regardless of content. Consistent with other law enforcement organizations, the Clearwater Police Department has an extra duty program for a wide variety of businesses and religious entities to hire off-duty officers. The primary purpose of extra duty is to provide additional services to the community with security, crowd control, and traffic.
With security. Clearwater ex-chief of police Daniel Slaughter. Glad that we're bringing up security. Glad that you're bringing up security because you know what? Marty Rathbun is going to touch into that very soon about how y'all were not really the best of friends for many years. Plenty of people had smelled the rat of what was festering inside of these hotels. But, you know, somehow the ball was just literally just dropped. Because I guess everyone in Clearwater decided, you know what? As long as kids are involved, they can be told better luck next lifetime. Next lifetime, you will have a chief of police that will care. This lifetime, you have one that doesn't give an F. That gets paid money from people that come to that hotel to what? Pay for child audits, to pay for ethics handlings done by children, to pay to be supervised by a child, including but not limited to. That's the only part that we give an M about. So just so that it's clear to you, ex-Clearwater Chief of Police Daniel whatever Slaughter.
Related details. These programs are not funded by the taxpayers and most importantly, do not draw from the on-duty resources paid for by the taxpayers. Only 3.4% of the extra duty assignments involve Scientology. All officers serving on an extra duty shift are bound by oath to remain in.
So 3.4, you guys, put that on your notes. Put that on your notes because that's what he just said. 3.4, right? Just minuscule. I mean, it's like literally it couldn't be more small or insignificant is what Chief Slaughter really wants us to believe with a straight face in his uniform, from his YouTube, from his shield, from this is an official statement from you, Chief Slaughter. Imagine that this, it doesn't get more official than this statement, you guys. It just doesn't.
Impartial and operate under the policies and procedures of the Clearwater Police Department. Being a recognized religious entity by the federal government, Scientology is entitled to contract for the same services as any other religious organization or business. The police department does not have the ability.
Isn't that great that for a while they weren't hiring you and then all of a sudden they did hire you and then all of a sudden you guys will become bestie westies? Because that is something else to put on your notes, you guys. Just keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind.
To stop providing extra duty services to one religious organization without denying the same service to all federally recognized religious entities.
Oh, this is a discrimination issue, you guys. They're very, 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 very pressed. I mean, God forbid they discriminate on the sycophants, the paid adult sycophants of a convicted felon. God forbid that we really discriminate against those minorities. That minority of adults, of paid adults, to worship the words of a convicted felon who, you know, guess what? No one has the right to tell you not to do that. It is America, after all. Give it up to the IRS, who says you can go and do that all day long. Well, imagine that it doesn't translate well when you bring up the fact that thousands of underage kids are also implicated and ensnared in everything pitched by that convicted felon, Chief Slaughter, that you could have Googled for yourself. So please, by all means, don't just, well, I didn't know. I didn't know that he wasn't legit. I got told that they were very legit. We used to be friends, but I mean, we didn't used to not be friends with them. But then we are just doing this, thing that we just do with everyone else. And it's just 3.4%. So what is everyone so pressed about?
Law enforcement officers throughout the country swear an oath to uphold the Constitution. This includes the First Amendment, which covers freedom of religion and freedom of speech. Clearwater police officers swear to uphold the same. Our hope is that everyone watching this video will recognize that we don't get to pick and choose whom we protect and serve, and nor should we. We are bound.
You do get to enforce the law, Chief Slaughter. Unfortunately for you, you swore that you're going to be enforcing the law. If aggravated child abuse is taking place inside of a hotel at an industrial size scale, and you don't pick or choose to do a shred of a thing about it, then really ask yourself what in the hell that swearing of whatever in the hell you're saying you're swearing to actually means in the physical universe. Not in a blabbing talking point from you really trying to sound so official right here. In the physical universe, what does it mean that you're swearing to enforce the law and yet the law ain't getting enforced when it has to do with systemic, institutionalized, aggravated child abuse at an industrial size scale? Why does that felony not count in Clearwater, Florida? Because that would be great to start understanding right about now. Why does aggravated child abuse, a full-blown felony, Ruby Franke is already serving jail for it. Ruby Franke's already not been able to say, well, my therapist told me to do this. So you know what? We were pulling demons out of our 9-year-old. So for all of these law enforcement people that want to claim that they're so dumb and they have no idea and that nothing makes a shred of sense because, if everyone's doing a religion, then everyone's doing a religion. It's everyone's doing a religion. That's the glib talking point. If the religion had kids locked up against their will as a systemic, institutionalized standing policy with a straight face Clearwater police chief and everyone else saying you're swearing to enforce a shred of law, why does that happen? Turns out that no, our parents didn't have the right to override all common sense boundaries and leave us there in that hotel with this everything goes environment that we're calling out, that we're sounding the alarm code red. It's not okay. All Scientology parents couldn't be more implicated up to their neck and ears. They're the ones that brought the children there. So start asking the parents what in the hell they're doing. Start pulling the string on that, Chief Slaughter, instead of, getting paid to really secure facilities where, again, why is this going on at an industrial size scale? Why is this being normalized by all Scientology parents that go and endorse this with a straight face? Why are they receiving not a shred of pushback, not a shred of, are you sure, ma'am, that that's really what you should be doing with your child? Why is everyone so afraid of insulting the stupidity of someone that could be literally putting their kids in harm's way, which is exactly what I want to have her pitch to all of them. That's why we're calling out the alarm on this. All these people that try to make it all about them personally. It's not personal. It's all. Like L. Ron Hubbard said, suppressive speak in generalities, mom, dad, this is a time that calls for a full-blown generality. Were you a Scientology parent? Yes or no? Yes. Did you bring a child inside of the hotel? Yes or no? Did you have a child get ethics handled? Did you have a child get audited? Did you have a child get supervised on disgusting courses? Yes or no? Great. Now, did you pay for services, for audits by children, by ethics handled by children, by courses by children? Is that answer yes or no? Then all of y'all are in the same literal boat. Scientology parents, you literally paid to get on a boat. Well, now come off the boat and start checking the receipts of the literal things going on in that disgusting boat. Because if you thought you were going to save a world from that boat, guess what? You were taken for a full-blown idiot. Does it suck to be you? It does. But wake the F up. Playing dumb isn't going to change a shred of thing. Playing victim in the aftermath of it all isn't going to change the facts whatsoever. It isn't going to move the needle. Y'all's needle is stuck as we speak. Literally stuck needle, because you've been implanted by a convicted felon to act unhinged. So start repudiating the implant.
Bound by the Constitution to answer all calls for service and deliver those services in a fair and impartial manner. The Clearwater Police Department has always investigated all crimes without passion or prejudice, regardless of who the...
Without passion, for sure. Literally with no passion. I mean, how many runaway children do you think were in Clearwater, you guys? Again, like, and I'll tell you, like, yeah, exactly. All crimes. The runaway kids that would escape the hotels never had the luck that Ruby Frankie's kids had for themselves. Let's just start by that fact. Imagine how many kids have been abused and ignored by these police departments. And we haven't even gotten to the good part where Marty Rathbun admits they were purchased. Imagine this guy has already gone on and on and on blabbing about how they couldn't have more integrity. It's only 3.4%. And oh my God.
The victim or suspect is, and we will continue to do so. We will not be used as instruments to promote anyone or any organization's agenda. Our officers are human beings who work a hazardous job that exposes them to human tragedy on a regular basis. The mere suggestion that our officers exist to serve any religious organization, specifically Scientology, is patently false and an affront to our officers and the great community we serve. To see them criticized and vilified for upholding the U.S. Constitution, all while doing their best to interpret complex legal orders, confusing complaints, and to mediate disputes between constitutionally protected activities of religion, speech, and assembly is not only unfair, but done in the absence of perspective.
Done in the absence of perspective is right. But we have provided that perspective, you guys. The perspective has been children are inside these hotels. They don't have an advocate. Their parent puts them onto the audits. The parent says they ensnare them in the audits. They tell them it's going to be great for you. It's going to be wonderful and you're going to love it. We love it. You're going to love it. Couldn't be more disgusting or nauseating how these people just continue to pretend that that level of abuse being supervised, being endorsed, being literally known about by all Scientology parents. There's no Scientology parent who doesn't know what an audit is. There's just none. There doesn't exist a Scientology parent that can go, oh, but you know what? I had no idea what they did in the audits. I was so clueless. Oh, you know what? I had no idea what they taught in the courses. I never did one. Oh, you know what? I had no idea what they did when they told you they were handling your ethics since I never had one. I mean, they all did everything that Scientology sold them, and then they put that on their kids. That's where they effed up. That's where they effed up beyond recognition, Scientology parents, just so you know. Once you're crossing that line, once you're acting against the best literal interest of your child, double check if that's really great for you to be doing. Write a letter to Ruby Frankie and ask her how that worked out for her. Ask her how her defense of my therapist, Jody Hildebrand, told me is a valid excuse for the type of sadistic abuses that you were doing under the moniker of you were really saving a world. What type of infantile stupidity are you really all participating in? Because that would be the next question for Scientology parents to really ask themselves. Are you being infantile? And if so, you have no right to be infantile at the expense of your children. FYI.
Hopefully, we provided you perspective today. Whether you wish us well or ill, the Clearwater Police Department will continue to protect every citizen and investigate every crime and serve our community with the powers granted to us by the Constitution and the criminal justice.
Yeah, granted to you. You have powers that were granted to you, and you're not using a shred of power. That's what's getting called out. That's what's getting called out, Chief Slaughter. Just so you know, just to keep it simple. Nobody wishes you ill nothing. We have questions. We deserve answers that make a shred of sense. We don't deserve to be gaslit ad nauseum. We don't deserve to be told better luck next lifetime. No child inside of the hotel as we speak deserves to be audited, deserves to be given ethics handlings, so-called ethics handlings, or put on disgusting grooming courses that are not suitable for children. In what world is no Scientology parent raising the alarm on themselves, going to other parents and saying, you know what, we effed up royally. We couldn't have been more stupid. We couldn't have been sold the most stupid thing in the whole wide world. But you know what? We can stop it right now. That's all we have the power to do, you guys. I mean, I get it. The past is not coming back. We're not getting our childhood back. It's gone. All we get is to demand answers from the so-called officials that have sworn to do a job, that get paid six-figure salary plus what we're just about to find out, plus padding their little salaries with, not just 3.5%, because that doesn't make a shred of sense, Chief Slaughter. Thank Mike Bunker for putting you on blast here with a blast from the past. Marty Little Rathbun, you guys, let's really hear what Marty Rathbun has to say in this interview.
The LMT coming to town created something that was a horror story for me and Mike Rinder and for Office of Special Affairs Flag.
Aw, you guys, the Lisa McPherson Trust created a horror story for Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder and the OSA staff. So for everyone that wants to go, the protesters are having no sway whatsoever. Here's the receipt. Here's how they really feel about it. Here's the type of nightmare that scrutiny provides to scammers. They cannot stand a shred of scrutiny because it's all built on a house of lies. So all they can ever do is deflect and project ad nauseum to create the level of, smoke and mirrors so that everyone plays dumb with them. But literally.
In other words, it didn't really bother me too bad that you all moved in next door but what the problem was, it drove Miscavige stark staring mad. And
Miscavige is being driven stark raving mad. Imagine that Lisa McPherson Trust is not reaching anywhere near the amount of people we can reach with all the streamers now, you guys, with all of you knowing and learning and asking questions. I mean, again, this is the advocacy that is needed in order for the stupidity to stop. It needs to be called out. It needs to be repudiated. It needs to be literally acknowledged for what it is. As long as it's not acknowledged, then what happens? Nothing changes if nothing changes. So shout out to all the streamers that are being told by Marty Rathbun just how much of a problem you are really creating for these people. Frauds cannot stand scrutiny. They fall apart. And we're already witnessing coming done at the seams, literally as we speak.
And Mike Rinder and I, on a daily basis, had to suffer the brunt of that reaction. And it was constant. You know, you talk about.
I mean, again, you guys, and I call this out all the time, and I think it's going to be called out again. It is rich for you, Marty Rathbun, to talk about the plight that you and Mike Rinder had with David Miscavige, full-grown adults that you were. Because we took the brunt from the Cook. I took the brunt personally from you. From you. You targeted me. I took the literal brunt. And in what world are you so unself-aware that you were literally brunting on minors who didn't have the ability and the capacity to consent to your level of wanting to really put a brunt on the minors? So, but all you ever get off is Dave was so mean to me. Dave was so bad to me. Dave was going ballistic. David, and you cannot get the literal word David out of your mouth. Meanwhile, do you have criminal acts of your own? Because that would be more time well spent. You discussing the things you did with your own two hands. Stop giving off David's withholds and start actually telling people what your withholds are, Marty Rathbun, not someone else's. What did you do with your own two hands? Who did you call? What did you aid and abet exactly? Yourself.
You know, breaking the law. I mean, he didn't care how it got done. I want them out. You know, we try to buy the place out from under you and got
breaking the law. So for all of you who are wondering, oh, is Scientology not wanting to break the law with the protesters? No. Here's Marty Rathbun admitting that David Miscavige and de facto him and de facto Mike Rinder, who were right next to carry out his whims and fantasies, will break the law and not think a thing of it. Just right there. I mean, you heard it from literal Marty Rathbun. Here's again for anybody who didn't catch it.
Out, you know, we try to buy the place out from under you and got with the owner and tried to do it. You know, we bought essentially the Clearwater Police Department. You know, we try to buy the place out from under you and got with the owner and tried out. You know, we try to buy the place out from under you and got with care how it got done. I want them out. You talk about, you know, breaking the law. I mean, he didn't care how it got done. I want them out.
You're talking about breaking the law. He didn't care how it got done. So here's from the second in command for decades, who was literally his lieutenant. So for anyone that's wondering what in the hell here.
Out, you know, we try to buy the place out from under you and got with the owner and tried to do it. You know, we bought essentially the Clearwater Police Department. No expense spared. It didn't matter. I mean, police.
No expense spared. We basically bought the Clearwater Police Department. Shout out to you, Chief Slaughter. So who's lying? Are you lying or is Marty Rathbun lying? No expense was spared. So the 3.4 percent of your salary? Is that all it took? Is that really all it took? 3.4%. And here's Marty Rathbun admitting we basically bought them.
Department, no expense spared. It didn't matter. I mean, the Clearwater Police Department, you know, was probably the biggest enemy of the Church of Scientology, still extant by the late 90s. And we basically bought them by hiring virtually every one of their officers on an off-duty basis, double time, triple time, where we were the gravy train for them.
The gravy train. Do you see that, guys? The gravy train is what is being literally quoted by Marty Rathbun. That's all it took to handicap the Clearwater Police. Scientology became their gravy train. Chief Slaughter, gravy, you know, just, does that sound like 3.4% to you? In what world is Marty Rathbun here gloating about how no expense was spared, as if these people have a cash problem? Did y'all miss the part where they tap underage kids to make them hundreds of thousands of dollars? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then the Clearwater Police comes back and says, oh, look, oh, my paycheck has got an extra $4,500 to it this week, you know, because I really did check the hotels, shooting the shit with the security guards, laughing it up. You want the Clearwater Police to really act right? You just heard it from Marty Rathbun. They get paid 3x the time. And Scientology is not pressed for money. They make so much of it each week. If they don't make it, they're eating rice and beans. If they don't make that money, they are literally in lower conditions doing disgusting manual work until they make the money.
Just double time, triple time, where we were the gravy train for them.
Double time, triple time for the Clearwater Police Department, you guys. So just so that everybody knows that Clearwater Police Chief Slaughter's denial that everything is great and wonderful is not being corroborated by Marty Rathbun.
And I think you experienced it yourself, where that had an effect within months.
And look, in months, you guys. I mean, Marty Rathbun just told us, Marty Rathbun just admitted to you all that, yes, he was full knowing that the Clearwater Police Department was one of their last standing enemies. Notice how the SP Times was not one of their enemies. I wonder what type of, you know, softening up of the Tampa Bay Times and the SP Times and all of those type of newspapers also happened, because apparently only the Clearwater Police was onto them anymore in the 90s, in the late 90s, you guys. According to Marty Rathbun, everybody else was handled. In Scientology, that's the term they use. Go handle it. Handle it. Don't come back until they're fully handled. That means that whatever the hell was going on has been completely destroyed. So they had to handle the Clearwater Police. Okay, let's flood them with money. Let's just give Chief Slaughter as much money as he possibly can stomach, so that he turns a blind eye to all the child abuse that's taking place inside of the hotels. Hip, hip, hooray.
I mean, we did, you know, we were down seeing the city attorney. We were down seeing the city manager on almost a daily basis, you know, demanding that something get done to get you guys the hell out of there.
So there you go, you guys. Guess where OSA has been? Going to the city managers, demanding something gets done. You really need to get rid of these protesters. You really need to get rid of these streamers. We really cannot have streamers. We really cannot have people calling us out on the street for what we are, because we are relying on a fake AF curated image for us to prop up our 501c that isn't saving our world, is it? I mean, in what world are y'all saving a world? In the same world where P. Diddy is also saving a world. That's where. So just so you know how far the delusion goes. It goes so far out you cannot even imagine. Joining the ranks of Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrandt and all the other deluded adults that literally are here, speaking and spewing their guts. But you really have to pull the string with Marty Rathbun, because you see how he speaks all kind of like in a perfect whispery way to really land his pitch. Never mind that his pitch is being torn apart because his pitch is not based in reality. His pitch is completely fake AF, and he's just trying to glamorize it all and sanitize it. And, you know, they were bringing the people, I didn't know, and the Clearwater Police was just up for grabs, and they were just purchased, and we were the gravy train and everything else.
So yeah, it was pretty rough.
What was the reaction of the city officials when you would be there?
It was pretty rough, and he laughs. So imagine the type of pressure, you guys. Who knew? Who knew that the Clearwater Police could be this pressed right about now? I mean, Rathbun already told us how rough they are on the city manager, on the city officials. Oh, they go all rough. We would know how rough they liked it. They use a lot of profanity. They use a lot of obscenities when they're doing anything rough in Scientology. And yes, you guessed it, they do rough handlings on children too. A child is an ethics particle, they're fair game. Go yell at them, go insult them, go throw the F-bomb at them, tell them that they're fucking out ethics, that you're fucking ethics in, you're fucking out ethic. The F, it's like literally like, you would think that they were really tapping on religion to really save a world, but you know what? They're tapping more on the F word than anything else to control children that are not, you know, just conforming with whatever this, you know, lieutenant, you know, ethics. What was it? Oh yeah, Deputy Inspector General for Ethics, you guys. Deputy Inspector General for Ethics, Marty Rathbun, explaining how out ethics he was while he was pretending to be all about ethics.
Harassing them.
When we would what now?
When you would be there to pressure the city manager, and what would be the reaction to it? What?
Well, it was kind of interesting because they were played in a real manipulative way, and Miscavige did it, and it was fairly clever. And fairly devious, though. But he was constantly...
Oh, Miscavige was the devious one. Miscavige was the manipulative one. And who were his co-conspirators? Who were there listening? Oh, yes, sir. Oh, you're right, sir. Oh, you have such great ideas, sir. Don't forget that's how Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder would speak to Miscavige. They use the word sir every 2 sentences. Yes, sir. No, sir. Of course, sir. Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. You don't want to do that, sir. No, Mr. Miscavige. No, of course, sir. Of course, sir. Yes, you're right, sir. You're right, sir. Subservient AF. They were just literally willing slaves. So you want to say that David was the devious one and you were there doing the bidding. So imagine that you're just a co-conspirator, Marty Rathbun. Imagine that that's literally all you are, a co-conspirator in this racketeering scheme. Go clear the definition of racketeering in the dictionary, Marty Rathbun, and then double check if you were not into that more than a religious activity that you know, in what world were you doing religion and racketeering at the same time?
Holding this thread out that it was this Clearwater was like powder keg, and that it could explode at any moment. You might have recalled that we staged that march with 5,000 or 3,000, or it was quite a number of Scientologists on the St. Pete Times.
Powder keg. They had a lot of guns in security. You guys, these people bought guns and guns and guns. We really have to defend ourselves. The world really needs to be saved. Let's buy more and more guns. How much of money was spent on guns, Debbie Cook? Right about now, you could be telling us. You could be telling us how much of the FP would go to purchasing guns for security, because we really need to protect ourselves here inside of this hotel. Really need to be protected because we don't already have the LAPD and the Clearwater Police on speed dial. I mean, in what world do you need to be that protected if you already have the two police departments on speed dial coming at your literal beck and call?
Yeah. Which is another whole interesting story in itself.
The one with the Nazi uniform?
No, that was the Guardian's office earlier on. This is the one that said Sid Klein.
The one with the Nazi uniforms. Oh no, that was just a GO. You know, this is where we really brought together 3,000 people to protest. And for all of you who say that protesting doesn't work, Marty Rathbun just gave you that answer. Scientology, say anything you want to say about them, but they got 3,000 people outside of the Clearwater Police Station. Numbers. They were PR literal puppeteers, these guys. So anything that had to do with theater, they were all about it.
What's your crime? Who he was, the thing. It was on the Clearwater Police Department and the St. Pete Times. It was in '98, I think, or '99. And anyway, so Miscavige used this whole thing with Roberto and the city attorney about how, that's just the beginning. That was just a small group, and this whole town could explode. And this is some crises about to happen.
This whole town could explode. In what world is law enforcement being threatened with the town exploding? Is that all it took? Threats, empty threats from literal outlaws, literal high school dropouts, sycophants of a convicted felon. That's who the Clearwater Police Department fell for. God help us, literally.
And so they were really worried about us turning it into a religious freedom crusade and making it a national issue. And
a religious freedom crusade. Oh, wow, you guys. Marty Rathbun just told all of you what the Clearwater Police Department, I'm sure the LAPD department by proxy, are deathly scared of. Religious crusades. Nothing like a crusade for them to stop applying a shred of the law. Nothing like we're really going to go on a religious crusade, so really buckle up. Imagine that they could protest back in the day. Imagine that they weren't being called the child traffickers that they are. Imagine that for a very long time, nobody had the capacity to call them that. Well, your luck has changed today, hasn't it, Marty Rathbun? As you sit there blabbing your mouth, incriminating yourself AF. Literally strings on strings on strings. that can be pulled here, because you're a huge Sherman tank to this operation. And again, we're questioning, in what world is this man admitting that Scientology, his buddy Mike Rinder, and David Miscavige purchased a police department? That's what was said by this man, you guys. So in case you missed it, rewind, because that's what this man said. They purchased the Clearwater Police Department, and we just showed you how the Clearwater Police Chief says that nothing has been purchased and everything is so normal, everything is so wonderful, and everything is great.
And, you know, exacerbating the whole thing. And so that's how they kind of took it. They took it sort of in a fear. You know, he painted a convincing picture of how this cat powder keg could go off at any moment, and every minute that they allowed the hate group McPherson Trust to be in.
Oh, you see, guys? So for all of you who are wondering what they are labeling us, we're being labeled the hate group. So the people that care for kids to not be child trafficked are the hate group, according to Scientology, according to Marty Rathbun while he was there, according to David Miscavige, according to Mike Rinder, according to Debbie Cook, according to all of these adults who don't want to be told, you cannot follow the rhetoric of a convicted felon to the letter without a shred of critical thinking skills, thinking that that's going to excuse you from a shred of legal liability. Criminal, civil, and every last shred of liability there is in the world will apply to y'all. Scientology parents, grab your Kleenex box. Wipe your little fake crocodile tears. Liability, civil, and criminal apply to all of the Scientology parents who brought their children to this man to have his way with them. Here you go. Here's my child. Here's their passport. What else do you need? Okay, great. Bye. Save a world. To this man who already said that they were able to purchase police departments. In what world was a child safe inside of the Scientology hotels if the Clearwater Police is purchased with a check, with a financial transaction? This is an admission. This is Marty Rathbun stating that fact. So when we really wonder why the Clearwater Police Department, why the LAPD, why all these other police departments are acting the way they are, here you go. Breaking news. They were purchased. Breaking AF news. All police departments were purchased by Marty Rathbun, by Mike Rinder, by David Miscavige, by all the OSA operatives that are working in a racketeering conspiracy, being aided and abetted by the literal law enforcement that is being paid to not enforce a shred of law. Because that makes a lot of sense, right, guys? Everything makes so much sense all of a sudden. This is what this man said. This is his words with his smirk.
We tried to buy the place out from under you and got with the owner and tried to do it. You know, we bought essentially the Clearwater Police Department. No expense spared. It didn't matter. I mean, police.
No expense spare. It didn't matter. So in what world are these people not using less of those expenses being spared on whoever in the hell else they're having to kneecapped so that no laws are enforced inside of the hotels? So what other agencies are really cutting deals with these people? Because right about now, that's what it's starting to smell. It's starting to smell like a big fat rat.
About how, you know, that's just the beginning. That was just a small group, and this whole town could explode, and this is some crises about to happen. And so they were really worried about us turning it into a, you know, religious freedom crusade and making it a national issue. and, you know, exacerbating the whole thing. And so that's how they kind of took it. They took it sort of in a fear. You know, he painted a convincing picture of how this cat powder keg could go off at any moment, and every minute that they allowed the hate group with Fearsome Trust to be in town brought us that much closer to the keg almost exploding.
So the truth corroborates itself. You guys, the literal truth corroborates itself. It happens organically. It happens on a video that shows up on your feed, and you're like, what in the literal hell is this? What in the literal hell is this? And oh my God. You know, and for those who were wondering where the liar, Clearwater Police Chief Dan Slaughter, the one that says that there was nothing at all weird, the one that says that everything couldn't have been more kosher and normal. Well, here it goes. Clearwater Police Chief Dan Slaughter. Slaughter does not yet have a day to retire from a 31-year career with the Clearwater Police Department, the last 9 years as chief. So as of April 23, when Police Chief Dan Slaughter spoke to City Manager Jennifer Poirier earlier this month about his desire to serve in the city administration, Poirier said a major personnel decision had been lingering became clear. Poirier announced Slaughter as her decision for assistant city manager. Oh, great. So the ones that go get yelled at by OSA, the city managers, right? That's who Marty Rathbun just told us goes gets yelled at. Well, imagine that they're going to have a really great, incredible city manager that, you know, they won't have to yell at because, you know, he's real friendly with them for decades. I think he's a good fit because he's proven leadership, and it relates to operational issues, commitment to the community, and his strong values have been proving as it relates to accountability and integrity. Oh, Poirier, what in the literal hell are you literally quoted saying? I mean, do you guys see how this all just works? And here's the press laundering the image of this man. Here's the Tampa Bay Times saying, oh my God, he couldn't have more integrity and amazing and leadership and everything else. In what world is the Tampa Bay Times not aware that it has a problem in its downtown? In what world is the Tampa Bay Times not aware that the Clearwater Police Department is 1 block away from the hotel where they have a problem? But yeah, let's make Chief Slaughter, let's promote him because of his incredible accountability and integrity. This is a huge opportunity, as I'm just really very excited about the selection. Slaughter 53 does not yet have a start date or confirmed salary. I'm sure it's 6-figure plus. I'm sure it's an upgrade from his Clearwater Chief of Police, because he has to finalize his retirement from a 31-year career with the Clearwater Police Department, the last 9 years of which he served as chief. He earns $171,000, 791 cents in his current role. How much of that was padded by Scientology? One should really question himself. What type of gravy were you given, Chief Slaughter? Or is Marty Rathbun just lying through his teeth? Was gravy not provided for you? With your 6-figure salary, imagine your 6-figure salary, and you cannot literally investigate your way out of a literal paper bag. Imagine that. Imagine cashing that $171,000 in your bank account, and you are not capable of pulling a string. Oh, foreign child here. You're 12 years old. You're in a hotel. You're in a uniform. You're in a tie. Why is a 12-year-old in a tie? Oh, they're gonna save a world. Oh, okay, never mind. Says Chief Slaughter, go back to saving a world, 12-year-old. Go back. Hope you got your passport and hope you have a better luck next lifetime. Your next lifetime should be great. So Poirier has not named an interim chief, but Slaughter's promotion is the first major administrative move that Poirier has made since the city council appointed her city manager last month and finalized a contract. Anyways, this is old, you guys, but the point is that, yes, Slaughter joined the Clearwater Police Department Training Academy in 92. He graduated from the University of South Florida with a degree in criminology. Criminology? Damn, Chief Slaughter. Criminology, and you don't even understand Scientology? You cannot even investigate Scientology and you have a degree in criminology. You really should have come to get trained, Chief Slaughter, by me inside of the hotel. Because you know what? I run circles around your criminality, criminology, whatever in the hell degree you say you have. So give it up to L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah, maybe none of us needed degrees, turns out. None of us needed education. Imagine the people that have the criminology degree cannot even figure out that a hotel that traffics minors at industrial size scales, dresses them all up as adults, puts them in all adult role plays, charges like a high-class prostitute, 500 hours an hour plus. But everything is wonderful and everything is great. And Chief Slaughter did a criminology and he couldn't be more in the loop, apparently, to look at the signs of what criminology should really be all about. But when it came to Scientology, he just said, you know what? It's a very religious thing. And you know what? It's very controversial. You know what? Abusing minors and committing aggravated child abuse at industrial size scales, again, is not controversial, Chief Slaughter. It's called criminal. Look it up. Look it up in your, I'm sure, books that you did read when you were doing that degree. But apparently those books didn't get through to your brain. Apparently the books couldn't have been more useless. As he climbed up the ranks of the police department, Slaughter earned a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Phoenix. I hope that's not the online scammy one. I hope it really was from the university. He said he knew his criminology degree was not marketable outside of his law enforcement and he was planning for the future. Oh, quite the entrepreneur. In their last convention before, Slaughter said that he talked to a longtime boss and friend about his desire to move into administration. He thought it would be a good fit. In his 9 years as chief, Slaughter said that he's most proud of the relationship he's built with other law enforcement agencies in the area. Oh, great, you guys. So all law enforcement agencies are not going to get counted on to do a shred of a thing. In 2020, he also created a real-time operations center which coordinates information from multiple law enforcement and civilian networks to get instant access to video data and other tools to solve crimes. Wonder if Scientology is involved. Because you know what? Scientology has been known to really want to lend a hand whenever anyone needs security footage of anywhere around. That's how they make themselves useful to law enforcement, you guys. Oh, oh yeah, we have a camera right there. Let me just pull it out. Here you go. Close your case. So that would be great to understand that, Chief Slaughter, if you also tapped into Scientology's instant access to video, data, and other tools to solve crimes. Somebody really should look into that. Slaughter, who's been credited with strengthening a community policing program, allowed officers to build relationships and trust with residents. Well, imagine being a Clearwater resident and thinking you can trust the Clearwater Police, literally. During the nationwide protests of 2020, with the demonstrations in Tampa and St. Petersburg turned chaotic with dozens of arrests. The march. When we're able to have open conversations with our city officials and have long-lasting relationships with city officials, then we're able to come to the table and we don't have to protest in front of the station, McGill told the Tampa Bay Times in 2020. So there you go, you guys. Clearwater police chiefs and all those people do not like being protested at the station. So glad that we now know how much they hate being protested. Glad to know that. That's going to come in real handy when, imagine that we do have to protest. Imagine that there are kids involved, and that's why all of you wonderful people are tuning in to help us get the word out. And this is what we're going to end off here, you guys. This Scientology and the Clearwater Police, the last receipt. We saved the best for last, literally, like the song says. So let's just take a look at this last receipt from Mark Bunker. And if you haven't checked out his Scientology and the Clearwater Police documentary, it's a great little, 20 minutes.
Just let them come to you make any sense to you? Do you remember somebody telling you that at the last picket?
Here I'm gesturing for the police to come over and break this up. Of course, they don't.
I mean, look how aggressive they were back in the day, you guys. Imagine that they're now all hiding inside the building. They cannot come out. They cannot confront. They cannot shatter any suppression. They can only make fake phone calls to SWAT people. Make fake phone calls of fake citizens arrest that the LAPD is really taking with a full straight face. Without jurisdiction, without due process, without due diligence, with nothing. They're arresting everyone with their literal nothings. Because that's what we're learning, that this LAPD has been all about, taking any citizen arrest. So Scientology can drum up any type of fake allegations, and the LAPD just has to go and grab the person and arrest them. And without asking a single shred of questions, without looking at any evidence, without nothing, just literally put him in lock handcuffs, kidnap him. But, the LAPD, very, very comfortable with that. Very, very comfortable. You've all seen it already, how comfortable they are. And here, back in the day, Scientology, this disgusting guy, Marfopoulos, was one of their top little, saboteur agents.
The police have become less and less and less willing to protect us. And at this point, I would have to say that I really feel that the police show a prejudice against us.
I have one more.
Imagine. Same shit, different air freshener, you guys. We're in the year 2024, and you tell me what has changed. Can anyone tell me what has changed? Like, in what world are we not in a literal stuck picture?
Our piece of footage I'd like to show you. It relates to these off-duty assignment sheets the Clearwater Police signed to work for Scientology. Their assignment reads, quote, security for Scientology members entering and exiting buses on Watterson. Yet here in this footage, shot several blocks away from Watterson, you can see the OSA agent walking his off-duty officer to Scientology's
See, you guys? Off-duty officers. That's why Scientology always has them on speed dial. That's why they're so willing to come, because they make money. They go and make that bread, LAPD. Go make that bread, answering the calls of these people who the LAPD now knows stand fully 100% utterly accused of trafficking minors at an industrial, institutionalized scale. Brought in by their parents, LAPD, in case you were too stupid to understand that part. In case you were all just so dumb and stupid and cannot make a single connection with nothing. Start with that fact. And here you go, showing them again, just hanging out, living it up, fraternizing with the security guards. I mean, in Scientology, they were very pressed that we never fraternized with anybody. You guys are like, oh, are you fraternizing? Oh, no, you don't want to have any undue influence. Imagine that with these security guards, they told them, become chummy. That was part of the assignment. Become bestie westies with the, bros at the LAPD, with the bros at the Clearwater PD. And then all of a sudden, they had a full police force behind them, purchased, according to what Marty Rathbun said they did.
Fort Harrison Hotel to monitor Bob Minton. The Clearwater Police Department has become Scientology's police force.
This can be celebrated as the year in which the occupation of Clearwater was completed.
When a person gets a sign knocked out of his hands, it's not abandoned property. When someone swings a hammer at somebody and with the intent to hit him, it's...
And here's the receipt again, right, guys? Scientology payments to police totals through 8/31/2000.
not no harm, no foul. When someone tries to destroy
There's slaughter, back in the very beginning, he only started with a cool $3,000, you guys. I mean, imagine inflation. Imagine a cool $3,000 probably look like 10K now, right? With all the inflation we've had and all of that. So imagine a cool $3K. It's all it took for slaughter to be kneecapped AF. And that was only the beginning. This is only the start.
equipment by messing with the lens and cameras.
$89,418.
It's not just tit for tat.
So there you have it, you guys. So Sandy, so who audits the cops? Who can question LAPD? Well, they have inspector generals. So we're talking to them and we're figuring it out as we go, you guys. That's how we have to do this. Serge, I'm sorry that you even have to make these videos, that the corruption is at the top is harming our children. Thank you, Philosophy. I appreciate that. Yeah. How is this not a conflict of interest? I mean, it's what we see, you guys. It's a full-blown conflict of interest. Are they allowed to wear their uniform while off duty? I mean, it'd be great to start understanding if they can, because whenever we see them in uniform, we don't know if they're showing up there as cops or as, people that are getting paid. And we've already caught them showing up in their full uniform, lying to Michael, telling them they're there in official duty, and then finding out that they're leaving in their own private cars. So they do dress up as cops so that they have that cachet to them, and they try to enforce that on us and intimidate us because, again, they're not there to protect us. They're being paid to protect the people that harmed us. How can you join the force in Florida and then earn a degree in Arizona, right? I was thinking about that. I'm like, is that because I've seen something about online, you get all those YouTube ads or whatever. It's weird. So gross that these people are voted in still in 2024. Yeah, I mean, again, we have to raise awareness, you guys. It's like so much corruption, so much, massaging each other's backs. Kiara, what's up, Kiara? We all assume, but there's still no telling it. No more assumptions on the LAPD and the corruption. I mean, imagine. It strikes me odd how completely comfortable Mike Rinder's able to rattle off his account of crimes. Well, you know what it is, Kim, is that he made a calculated effort. He knew that speaking about Lisa McPherson, since it was something that had already been prosecuted and a full criminal case had been closed, he knew he could speak about that. So on the one hand, he could create that credibility. It's like, oh my God, look at this guy coming off so clean and saying so many things. And on the other hand, full knowing that as long as he doesn't speak about anything that he doesn't want people to know, then he's fine. And he just wanted to, leverage his knowledge to secure a payment, which he didn't get at the end. So he definitely got what he wanted out of the whole thing. It's unbelievable. Hate group label of third-party law policy Elron uses of the us versus them. Yeah, I mean, they're only just projecting, you guys. It's all just a projection. They want everyone's, they want the laws enforced on everyone else but them. I mean, just about, just about. Loud and clear. Religious Freedom Crusade, Portland, Oregon, circa 1984. That's right, Nermin. They did do a big, I mean, Scientologists have mobilized people when they've been in a lot of trouble. You guys, it's one of their crisis management things that they'll use, you know, but very much like as a last resort. They don't like to do that. They haven't done that in a very long time, but they'll definitely do that. So there you have it, you guys. So the Clearwater Police was purchased by Scientology, according to Marty literal Rathbun. So once again, we'll leave everyone with that question. So how are children supposed to be safe? Is the top lieutenant, second in command of all Scientology, the so-called Inspector General of Ethics, is comfortable admitting that they were the literal gravy of the Clearwater Police Department, who used to be skittish about what in the hell was going on in the hotels, who used to, you know, kind of smell a rat. Never mind that they didn't ever do anything to stop it, but at least some people were smelling that something didn't smell right. Well, imagine that in comes Chief Slaughter, who's already fully lied on the public record, pretending that whatever money he did get from Scientology couldn't have been the most normal thing. And little did anyone know that Mark Bunker would have had Marty Rathbun admitting to the polar opposite of what Chief Slaughter was pitching, with a full straight face, being promoted to manager of city, deputy manager of the city, and all manner of things. So it takes a village to traffic kids. It takes a lot of enablers to get away with it. And in Clearwater, there is the entire political establishment kneecapped, compromised, and aiding and abetting and enabling all the abuses, taking kids into harm's way, because apparently the laws are nowhere to be applied in this United States of America. Is just a bunch of platitudes and better luck next lifetimes. That's all that's on the public record being seen. And yes, Florida, a horrific track record of trafficking underage kids en masse and getting away with it. Ask Jeffrey and Ghislaine. Ask them where they had the most access to underage kids. So thank you guys for sitting through this one. Thank you for continuing to support us and continuing to ask the questions that need to be asked and connect these dots. And thanks to Marty Rathbun that admitted to something. I mean, at least we have it on the facts. At least we don't have to wonder if they did do something or they didn't. So thanks to you, Marty Rathbun, now we know that you all have been purchasing law enforcement. So glad to understand that in the United States of America, the law enforcement is able to be purchased, because you know what? It is. It is. Now we really do know. So thank you guys for listening today, and I will see you all soon. Bye.